I'm Bethany Anderson of Bethany Heals, and if life's been lifing lately, then you found me just in time. This is a pause, a permission slip to just be. And before we begin, let me remind you, your healing isn't on a timeline. Around here, we don't hustle our healing, we honor it. Trust that your intuition brought you here for a reason. So let's drop into our next archive episode. I am so happy that you're here, and I'm thrilled with today's archive episode number 2 because today we are diving into our intuitive guidance for the month of August. And I want to start this episode by sharing a little bit of what I've been up to over this past month, because my goodness, it was a much needed reprieve from my day-to-day goings with my business and with my life. I am an intuitive healer and spiritual guide. I started this path of healing back in 2016, and after many years of healing myself and getting to know myself and understanding my purpose for being here, I was inspired and received a lot of clarity about what I was meant to be doing here on this beautiful earth, and that is leading and guiding others towards their own aligned and most destined path for themselves. And that's really how Bethany Heals started back in 2020. And since then, I have had the honor and the privilege of working with and guiding hundreds of souls into a space that makes sense for them, regardless of what they're going through at that time in their life. And I say all of this because throughout this journey of building Bethany Heals, I have been flying by the seat of my pants. I don't think there's a playbook for this, but I've always allowed my ingenuity and my intuition and this big old brain that loves to read and to learn and to be mentored and to be taught to guide me with creating this beautiful community that I have today. And a big struggle of mine that I've noticed keeps coming up is balance. It's balancing being so inspired and passionate about something that it's all you want to do. You wake up to it, you eat, you sleep, you breathe, it's all you think about. It's a great feeling, but also on the flip side of that coin is not creating enough space or enough room to just be. And I tend to get into these inspired kicks where I work myself to the dirt. And it's something that I think I'll continuously be working on and finding the balance for. And I'm so grateful I have the tools to help me work through that. Shout out to intuitive healing. But this was the first time that I caught myself from burnout right before it happened. And I was talking to a friend who happened to do a tarot reading for me. And all of the cards she pulled, she was like, Bethany, if you don't stop right now, it's going to be a problem. And I was just like, I know, I feel it. I feel it coming. I need to pull the reins back. Shout out to my dear friend Bree. She's the extremely talented tarot reader, and she's so insightful and so gifted. I'll definitely link her website in the podcast notes. And I'm so grateful to her because that gave me the inspiration and the permission to take a pause, to take a step back. And that's what I gave myself in the month of July. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be a muggle for a little bit. I'm going to put a pause on all of the things that I have planned and just allow myself to be. I'm in this new city, this entirely new state. I want to just explore and do whatever and wherever the wind blows me, whatever I want to do. And so during the month of July, I believe that I had this revelation of sorts because I was allowing myself to just go with the flow, whether it was sitting down and watching some trash TV or going outside and exploring a new park or trail or trying a new restaurant or just going outside and reading. It felt really good, and it just reminded me of what happens when we actually give ourselves permission to create space and room to just be. Because by doing that, it actually opened up my mind and my creativity even more. Not by being in it all the time, but by stepping outside of it, outside of the day-to-day grueling hours of all of the things that I was doing. And it gave me a lot of clarity around how I want to build Bethany Hills moving forward as a part of my life instead of it being my life. And so on that note, July was great. I read 6 books. I started going to a hiking club. I made some new friends. I hung out with my new friends. And I just remembered why I'm here in the first place. And as I was tuning into the energies of the collective for the month of August, I just had this really beautiful vision, which I feel like is so necessary and aligned with what we need right now. You know, taking a moment to step away from the noise of social media and the news and all of the heavy chaos that's happening in the world, it really gave me the ability to ground back down into myself and get back into my body. And it allowed me to fill my cup up so I can show up for others. We can't show up for others, for our community, for all of the things that we believe in if we're running on an empty cup, okay? If we're running on fumes. We have to take care of ourselves first. We have to prioritize our mental health, our energetic hygiene, and the things that nourish us so we can show up fully for others. And so, with the month of August, I had this vision of this little boy. And this little boy was sitting in front of a fireplace with his parents. And he was playing with these building blocks, and he was building these huge towers. And his parents were just sitting there and laughing and smiling and just watching him create. And they didn't try to damper his imagination or try to tell him what to do. They were just there. And that allowed that little boy to build some amazing things in that adorable imagination of his. And by allowing him to nourish that part of himself as he grew older, he continued to be a builder and an architect within his own life with the work that he did. And one day he created an invention that was the solution to a world issue. And then he gave away that invention for free. He said, just take it. It's not mine to have. He ended up winning a Nobel Prize because of it. But he also ended up changing so many lives within the world. And so with that message, I want to share with you some guidance about what that means for us in the month of August. This message really speaks to the energy of creativity, of curiosity, of allowing yourself to play with the ideas that you have, to really shape and form the things that you want to bring outside of you without restraint, right? Just like with the parents that were watching over him and just enjoying his creative process. They weren't trying to put him in a box or to control what was being done. They were letting his creativity run free. And so my question for you this month is, where can you create without the need for approval or for validation, but just because your soul wants to? What can happen when you follow your curiosity without needing a destination? What would happen if you just let your creativity flow free? That is your invitation this month, which I think kind of ties in beautifully with the balance between our day-to-day lives, our responsibilities, the giving and giving and giving that we do. How about we do a little giving to yourself? What are the things that light you up that you can nourish yourself this month with? That's just for you, just because you can and because you want to. And so our anchoring message, our anchoring ritual for the month of August is this. Every morning, I invite you to light a candle safely. It can be a small candle, it can be a freaking birthday candle, okay? When you get up in the morning, I want you to light a candle. And I want you to sit with yourself. Breathe into your body, in through your nose and out through your mouth if that feels good for you. Just let yourself be present for a moment. And I want you to say to yourself, whether it's silently or out loud, my ideas are sacred. My presence is enough. That's it. Let that be your ritual as your day begins. So when we start to set up our day with those first few moments that are just for you, I'm so curious to see how you show up for yourself throughout the rest of your day and what you're able to mold and create from that space. So that is my guidance for our community for the month of August. And I can't wait to share in the comments what you create at the end of this month. I have some special gifts that I have created with my time off due to the inspiration. One of those gifts is actually a great starting off point if you are looking to come back to yourself, and that is a beautiful self-paced 7-day ritual guide that I created called Rooted. And it's 7 days of practices and rituals to come back to yourself, almost like an energetic reset. I mean, that's exactly what it is. And so I will definitely have that information to Rooted linked below. And my final one is a gift for the end of the month. I have a beautiful free experience. It's called Opening Ceremony. And it's going to be on Wednesday, August 27th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. It's free, it's live, it's online. And this is really a ceremonial homecoming to yourself. This is going to be a space where you can strip back the noise and the confusion and the clutter of your day-to-day life to come back to yourself so you can get some clarity and some direction on what next step that you need to take in your life that's going to be the most aligned for you. So I'll be holding space for you during opening ceremony. I would love to see you there. That will be linked in the show notes below as well. And my closing note, directly from my heart to yours, is really just a note of gratitude. Because I noticed the biggest thing that came up for me with having this past month off was how much work I've been putting into Bethany Heals. You know, I started this business in person in San Diego. And when I decided to make the shift to moving my business fully online, I don't think it ever fully clicked that I was starting a whole new world of Bethany Heals, basically from scratch. And it's only because of you that I have the fire to keep going. Because every day, there are those days where I want to give up. But then I get a message from you, I get an email from you, I have a session with you, you join one of my beautiful offerings, and I hear your experience, and you should tell me how what I'm doing has really helped you. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for continuing to show up for yourself. You are a constant reminder for me, and you truly ignite that deep fire within me that reminds me every day this is why that I'm here, to guide you through this wild world, this crazy thing that we call life. Because I know life be lifing sometimes, but I'm here to walk through that life with you. So I look forward to our archive episode number 3. I've got some beautiful episodes coming your way. But in the meantime, I hope that you continue to walk down this intuitive path that we all have, and really trust when your body, when your spirit, your heart are telling you what it needs, whether it's taking a pause or taking that next big step. Your intuition always knows the way.